Hi guys, Raindale here with another out of series video. Another one where I just share my thoughts on something that's indirectly related to the gaming industry, but not directly, about War of the Visions as a game. And today I want to talk about a topic that I guess has been more on my plate since I've begun content creation because my free time has become so much thinner. And that's maintaining a relationship with gaming while being an adult and having the responsibilities that come with it. And I guess a little bit of context about me, which might help you relate or not with me as a person a little bit. I do not have any children, but I do have a full-time job, I do have a house, I do have a wife, and some friends and other responsibilities, right? And on top of that, I've been spending between a little bit above 20-ish hours a week on a channel for the last couple months. So that leads me to try to set my priorities in terms of gaming, which is my primary hobby, and then trying to balance that with everything else that I do. So let's hop into it. And first, I guess I want to talk about the same thing in all of these videos because really, it's, I think, one of the best and most important things to do in life in general, and that's setting expectations. Right? When I come into new games, or a game like War of the Vision, I always try to set my expectations ahead of time. I think that's key to having a good experience. Like, I cannot count the amount of games that I have either purchased and never even played, or that I've purchased and started playing but then lost it along the way. And that's generally because when I go into that game, I don't have a plan or an expectation. I'm just starting to play, and then eventually the motivation drops. But when I tell myself, all right, I'm going to clear this game, I won't do a platinum run. I won't clear everything because I just don't have the time to do that. Like games, for example, like Nier Replicant or Nier Automata, are games that you can clear like dozens of times to get all the endings and everything in perfect. When I was a kid, I used to do that, and it was all my fun, right? Trying to get every little drop, every hidden item. I've done that with Tales of Symphonia, which, if you guys know, is a pretty damn huge game. And I did a perfect run of that, but hey, that was, I don't know how many hundreds of hours. I can no longer do that as an adult. So yeah, when I come into a game now, I set my expectations ahead of time, and that helps me enjoy my experience a little bit more. Like, I know what I'm getting into and why I'm getting into it, and it just makes it so much better. And I guess the highest things about setting expectations for me, the first thing is the game I'm coming into a game with PvP? Because if it does, a game like War of the Vision, where there is a PvP side to it, kind of forces a certain amount of investment for me, because I'm a rather competitive person, and if there is a PvP scene and I'm not performing in it, I know I won't have as much of a fun time. So when there's a PvP game, or a PvP aspect to a game, I know it's a game that will take a lot of my time. Like, I can't just let War of the Vision sit for 2 weeks. First, because I make content about it, but also just because I won't make my account progress as much, and then some people will get ahead of me. So my competitive side forces me to put more time in PvP game than other games, because if there's no PvP scene, you can just clear the game at your own rhythm. The game will wait for you. Other players won't. So I guess that's a core analysis that I do when I go into a game. And then, depending on how much time I need to put into a game, well, there's how many games can I sustain. Like War of the Visions is an extremely time-consuming game. If you want pieces of equipment, you need to farm a lot. So I think you get most of the rewards within the first, say, 45 minutes of play. You can do all your dailies, get a couple nice things, do your first clear of the events to get the nice drops. You can do that within a short-ish amount of time. But if you want to farm +5 gear and get maxed out accounts, that's where you start needing to put some serious time into the game. And fortunately, there are macros, there are ways to mitigate that, but it's a game that requires a high time investment. I personally cannot have more than one of these at a time. So my other games that I play have to be games which don't require much time. That's either games like Persona 5, whatever games that don't have a PvP where I can just play at my own rhythm. If I do 2 hours in a week, that's fine. I'll slowly get towards the end. Right now I'm doing Horizon Zero Dawn that way. And then the next game I want to do is probably Persona 5 or something like that. But like, I know they're huge games, but hey, I'll clear them over 4 months. That's fine. I don't play them a lot, but when I do, I have a good time. So yeah, I can only sustain one big game. And right now, another game that I sustain alongside War of the Vision is Genshin Impact, which I know some people like, some people hate, but something I really love and really hate at the same time about Genshin Impact is that this game does not have a lot of content, right? I cannot really spend more than 30 minutes in the game and still have stuff to do. Like once you've done the world map exploration, you're just waiting for events or doing your dailies, and those take 15 minutes a day. So that's a good side to the game in a way because it makes it compatible with War of the Vision and other games. I would not be able to play something like Guild Wars 2, in which the daily, from my experience, take 45 minutes, and then play War of the Vision, where I have to spend a couple hours to stay at the top of the game, right? So yeah, there's that. And then I guess I put return on time invested, but what I mean by that is return in fun. If there's a game that generates more frustration for me than it generates actual fun, it doesn't make me want to invest my time in there. So when I was a kid, I would like fight through hard stages for hours or try to figure out puzzles for hours and just eventually become more frustrated than I enjoyed it. But that was part of the experience. I had the time to do that. Now if I'm starting to have negative feelings while playing a game, that means it's time to look at a solution on the internet or find a way to bypass the challenge because I would just want to have a good time. Another example of that, I used to play a lot of League of Legends, and it's a game that's a bit touchy. Like half the time you'll win and you'll have a great time, but half the time you'll lose and you might end up with shitty teammates. Like say that the community is not as good as the War of the Vision community. And I ended up dropping that game because when I would go and spend an hour in a game after a day of work, I wanted something that would lighten my mind and put me in a good mood. Not something that I would roll a 50-50 chance of finishing my gaming session in a worse mood than I started it. So I dropped that game. So these are all like part of, for me, setting my expectations. Why do I want to play this game? And then what am I going to get out of it? And then once you've adopted the game, there's something about gaming that I find interesting, especially about games like gacha games, games that evolve over time, and in which you can always struggle to get the next best thing. Gaming can eventually become a core, among others. Like I'm a very completionist player, and if there is a daily system in a game that I play, I don't feel good going to bed and not having cleared that. It's a little bit, I guess, of an obsession, but it really, like, it won't come out of my mind unless I've done it. So I can't really play a lot of games with daily systems, otherwise I'll be there in my bed, way past the hour where I should be asleep to have a good night's rest, and I'll be just like doing my dailies and all those games and trying to clear the daily things I can do. And that's not very healthy. I've done that while I was playing War of the Visions. There was a moment where I was playing 3 different games at the same time on my phone, and yeah, I would lose an hour and a half of sleep sometimes just trying to go through all those daily tasks. Then the same thing can be said if there's like games with raids, like MMOs, where you have to be there. Usually those are the best moments and they're super fun, but sometimes gaming will get in the way of real life. Like you'll have an occasion, I don't know, your family's birthdays and stuff, and if you start going into these events thinking about the gaming time that you're losing, that's probably an issue. And I guess that goes into cost of opportunity. Like I want to make sure, as much as I enjoy gaming, it's something that I can do all the time, right? If I have free time, I can game, but it's not during all of my free time that I can do some other stuff like seeing people or parties or, I don't know, special occasions like Halloween and stuff. So I think whenever I spend time gaming, I kind of have to count the cost of opportunity and make sure that I'm not losing other opportunities that are more unique and more limited in when they're available than time I spend gaming. And then in every gaming community that I've been in, there's a lot of complaining. Some of it is justified and some of it is healthy. If there are things that you don't like about a game or things that you feel should be improved, I think it's natural to communicate your desires to the team and in the hopes of getting something back from it. But at some point, if all you're feeling from a game that you're playing is negative and you're not even having fun anymore, right? You're just hoping it becomes better and you want to stay in the game because you've already invested either money or time or both into the game. Well, I think you should look at all the other options that are out there and drop the game right now. Like, if it's not fun now and it hasn't been fun for a short while for you, why do you keep playing X game and complaining on the internet or whatever? There is more media in the world right now than there is available time for a human lifetime to enjoy. Like, we're generating more content than humans can actually enjoy across all media really right now, especially with the internet age. So if you stop playing this game, you will not run out of things you can do. There's new anime, new whatever it is you're into. Like, there's so much content out there. Find another game that you're going to enjoy more. And if you're the type of player that's going to enjoy games during your honeymoon period and then just switch from game to game, that's fine, right? Everybody has their own way of playing. But I guess what I want to say here is, as an adult, we have limited amounts of time and limited amounts of fun we can generate in that time. So if something's not fun for you anymore, there's no reason to stay into it. You don't have to uninstall, you don't have to lose your current progress. You can just set a game aside for a while until your negative feelings run out, and then you can come back with a positive mindset. But I think you should always do what you want and not get stuck in the force of habit, because that's where it becomes unhappy at the end of the day, and that's where you start kind of wasting your time in a game that doesn't bring you happiness. Alright, that was it. I'm pretty happy. I think I managed to keep that one short-ish, which was the goal. Anyways, just sharing my thoughts. I really enjoy making these videos, and hopefully you guys enjoy this one as well. And if there are topics that you'd like me to talk about, I know I was speaking about possibly doing one with the role of nostalgia in collaborations and such, and why we enjoy it that much, and why sometimes we're not satisfied with them. So that's a topic I have in mind for a future video, but if there are some you'd like me to talk about, just throw them out there and I'll see if I'm comfortable talking about them. As always, if you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and then thank you so much for your time and have a great rest of your day.